Okay. And there we go. Tell the boss, turn up the knob. He'll be all right. Welcome. It's another Monday morning, and believe it or not, we're still here. And we thank you for listening, and you can find us also on Facebook Live this morning. Videographer Joel Brock is at the helm. And we're honored to have in studio a new face to Carroll County, J.R. Charles, Vice President of Economic Development at Carroll Tomorrow. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Now, do I just call you Jay or do I call you J.R. or how should I address you?
Just don't call me late to dinner.
All right,
That's all
got
I care
that.
about.
Well, I love clarity,
Yeah.
and that just cleans that right up.
Yeah, JR's good.
Vice President of Economic Development here in Carroll County. Well, welcome officially.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Crazy Radio team. Tell us, hopefully you're going to be here for many years to come. Tell us a little something about who you are and your background and just kind of a little intro, if you would.
Yeah, sure. So I'm J.R. Charles. I'm a graduate of the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. They got to Go Dogs in Radio Land.
Well, we do across the glass there. So.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sure there are some good Dogs fans out there in Carroll County, too. So anyway, graduate of the University of Georgia. Believe it or not, my major at UGA was journalism. Wanted to be in the broadcast business, but that's when the recession hit and the whole industry was changing. Facebook went live, YouTube went live, and I knew it wasn't going to be the same, so I said, let me try public relations. Skidded that way and moved back to my hometown to kind of figure it out a little bit, which is Douglas, Georgia, Coffee County. And the chamber president there needed a person to come in and do graphics and broadcasting and media and all that kind of stuff. So I went to work for the Chamber of Commerce, and that's how I got in this whole economic development thing.
Since we're right next door to Douglasville, tell us a little more about where Coffee County in Douglas, Georgia is. I always get confused.
Sure. So it's deep southeast Georgia. So if you're looking at the state of Georgia on the map, you know where I-75 kind of splits north-south. If you go down to where Tifton is, and you go due east about 45 minutes, that's where Coffee County is.
But that, am I wrong? But is that kind of like a change in worldviews to leave South Georgia, come up to UGA, and now you're in Carroll County? How different? We hear about the two Georgias. How different is it?
There are two Georgias. Well, I can even make it even more complicated than that. So when I was born in Atlanta. Knew nothing about it. We left when I was like 6 months old, maybe 15 months old. Moved to West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and then down to South Georgia when I was 10 years old. So got to see a lot of crazy things before we even moved down to South Georgia.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, our news director is West Virginia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. He'll love you. Okay. Well, very good. Welcome. That's kind of an interesting kind of, now you're in economic development. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of progressing, it seems like. You're moving nicely, and you're still a young guy.
35, I guess that's young.
Well, it's your frame of reference. But we won't go there.
Yeah.
Let's, before we go to our first break, we had very dramatic Thursday, I guess now, coming on 2 weeks or whatever. Superior Plastics on Columbia Drive caught on fire late one evening, and it really, attracted the attention of everybody in the community. I believe there were 200 people who were employed there. It's, if you've ever watched that company, it's really grown a lot. It's been incredibly successful over, a couple of decades here. I don't know details about it, but tell us from an industrial economic development point of view about a catastrophe like this.
Yeah.
And how, I know the Chamber and Carroll Tomorrow is reaching out to offer support. Bring us up to date on what you know about Superior Plastics.
Sure. Yeah, so on Thursday, the day after the 4th of July is when it caught fire. And there's only a couple people that were working there. They got out. Nobody was hurt. Praise the Lord. That's fantastic.
Yep.
So on Friday, Daniel and I come in and sit down and we say we need to start calling some people. So we call our state resource partners at Department of Community Affairs, Georgia Department of Economic Development, the Three Rivers Regional Commission, et cetera, et cetera. We just go down the list, Department of Labor. And we say, we need you guys here on Monday morning, 1:30 in the afternoon. We're going to get the CEO from Superior Plastics and his leadership team to sit down and talk about the resources we can offer to Superior Plastics. And he said, okay, the CEO says. He calls the meeting of all his employees, meet at the Burson Center at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing he tells them out of the gate is, we're going to rebuild, we're going to stay in Carroll County, and all of you have jobs. And the best part is that you're going to get paid while we're going through this reconstruction process, and we're going to try to put you guys back to work as soon as possible. And that's something I want to let people know. We've heard that people are collecting up gift card drives and doing fundraisers and all that stuff, and that's wonderful. The people of Carroll County are really generous in doing all that stuff. But just know that the employees of Superior are still getting paid. Their insurance providers paying them while they're in this transition, and they're going to go through training at West Georgia Tech to upgrade their skills while they're in this middle of the transition. So anyway, we had the meeting, and the game plan was laid out. They're going to work with the city of Carrollton to get the building raised. They're going to go ahead and start from the ground. In fact, when the fire burned, it was so hot, it actually broke the concrete pad in half. So they need to go back through and take the pad out, scrape it down, start all over again, and they're going to rebuild. And in the meantime, we're looking for real estate for them for their cut and sew operation, because you make those canopies that go over playgrounds, and they also make playground equipment, so we need to find a place for them to do their plastic manufacturing. So that's kind of what I'm in the middle of doing right now.
But now, don't they have 2 locations or 3 in Carrollton?
They have two. They have two. In the industrial park, they've got their cut and sew operation primarily, which is where they do those awnings, and then the other one's strictly the plastics hardline stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
How apparently no firefighters were terribly injured or injured at all, but wasn't that somewhat toxic material or toxic smoke?
Yeah, plastics, a little bit toxic, but they had all the protective gear on, and nobody got hurt. People may have had a little bit of cough, but that's about it.
Well, it sounds like, this is somewhat news to me. It sounds like they got good insurance. If the staff and employees are going to continue to get paid, isn't that remarkable?
Yeah, it is. Every insurance agent in Carroll County is going to thank me when I say, make sure you call your insurance agent.
Yeah, really. That's important.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get underinsured because, those premiums hit.
They do.
They hit, and those premiums generally hit hard, with all due respect to all the insurance agents.
They do. Well, the parent company for Superior has been really good to them.
And that's a large company, if I'm not mistaken.
They're big. They're out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. SII, I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but they're treating everybody well. They're doing fine. They're rocking along, and they're going to rebuild, and they'll come back better than ever, hopefully.
Well, in other words, this could be a tremendous blessing in that the technology will be state-of-the-art when they rebuild, and the employees will be better trained than ever.
That's hopefully the case. Yeah, they knew that there was a skills gap that they had to address coming up. So I hate to say this is an impetus to do that, but by engaging with West Georgia Tech and starting to assess where their skills are and where they want them to be, it's kind of a good transition period for them in a way. Hate that there's a fire, obviously.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, this is not a good thing, but it does give a motivation to do something new.
Sometimes sometimes we have to be nudged or forced into moving ahead, and that's going to be a dramatic improvement, I would think.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So, wow, that's that's remarkable. Okay, well, we wish Superior Plastics the best, and because before we go to a break, this will be kind of our transition into, these manufacturing type facilities really are such a foundational unit of economic development, are they not? They provide good job stability. Just from what you're telling me is that the employees are still going to get paid. They're going to get new training. They're going to upgrade. And, not every business can say that.
No, they can't say that.
And so having a quality industrial partner, if you will, in Carroll County, this is just a great example of that.
It is. Yeah, Carroll County is one of the few counties that has a good majority, not a majority, a plurality of their tax base that's industrial. And we can talk about that later after the break compared to other people in the state.
Our guest this morning is J.R. Charles, newly appointed Vice President of Economic Development at Carroll tomorrow. We're very proud to have this UGA grad in the studio. And we'll be back with more after this word from Tanner Health System.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Graddick, your host. Delighted to have you with us on this beautiful Monday morning as we get ready to tackle another week. And you can listen to us at 106.3 FM, 1330 AM. Also, Facebook Live, News Talk 1330 Facebook page, so you can post your questions or comments there. Or if you're old school like me, you can give us a call, 678-601-8255, 678-601-TALK. Our guest this morning is J.R. Charles, VP of Economic Development at Carroll Tomorrow. We're talking about strong industrial partners or companies here in Carroll County. One, of course, being Superior Plastic, that's undergoing a major change. How would you describe the best industrial industry to locate in Carroll County? What would be the dream industry?
No, the dream industry.
Dream. Go on and dream on.
Yeah, the one that produces no pollution, right? Employs 1,000 people, has $1 billion of equipment sitting right there, and rolls off the product that everybody's buying every day, 10 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's your job to go find those.
Trying. Yes, sir. Yeah.
But the reality of it is, coming in from the outside, looking at it, how are we doing? Or do we have a good economic small business mixture, do you think?
I think so. Well, that's one
industrial small business mixture.
Yeah, so there's a few components that you look at when you're looking at a community for its economic vitality. It's their tax base, which is basically the breakout between residential property tax and industrial property tax and all the other things that make up that. You have the quality of life. And then you have the education ecosystem that kind of builds that pipeline of talent that feeds that way. And Carroll County has all three in spades. So for the industrial base, I was looking it up, I think it was maybe a week or so ago. Carroll County's tax base, when you look at it, think of it as like a pie chart, 12% of that tax base is industrial. And that means that 12% of all the money that comes in from the county revenues is coming from tax base, from industrial tax sources. And that's big. The community I just left, Oconee County, their industrial tax base was 1%.
Ooh.
Yeah. And really what that means is, let's say that you as a homeowner, right, you have your property tax bill that comes due, and you know that it costs $8,000 a year to educate a kid. I don't know what it costs in the Carroll County school system. I got to get on my school system side of things. But let's say it costs just $10,000, right? And your property tax bill that you pay every year is, if you're in a $200,000 home, is about $2,000, right? So you got a kid that costs $8,000 to educate, but you're paying $2,000. Where's that difference come up? Well, it comes in that industrial tax base and the business tax base. So having a strong tax base that pays those bills, not just the school system, but your roads, your water, your sewer, all those infrastructure bits of it, plus the services, they're the ones who pay the bills. So you want to have that good tax base that goes along with it.
Let's take it one step further. You know, a lot of focus, particularly with NAFTA, when that came along, and certainly the economic downturn, 2007-8, you know, it started being pointed out that manufacturing industrial jobs in America were fleeing and were decreasing. And you know, it makes you think that of all the linchpin for a good quality of life, healthy community is having that good, stable manufacturing job that is generational, that pays well, that has the security, as evidenced by Superior Plastics. Even it's going to stay around and grow in the face of this devastating fire. Am I wrong in saying that, you know, one of the best ways economically to maintain our quality of life is to attract and have in our industrial parts quality manufacturing industrial businesses?
Man, you can write my PR slip.
Okay,
that's
good.
Great. That's fantastic. You said it all.
Let's go get a biscuit.
Why do I need to even say anything else?
I don't know.
No, you're right, because it provides that predictable cash flow that comes into a community, right? So another way to look at a local economy is looking at it as like a bucket, right? And there's holes drilled in the bottom of it. Money that's brought in the community by having these industries is being poured in on the top. Everything you buy from, computers or appliances or things like that's leaking out the bottom. That's cash leaving the community. So you need to have the money coming in from a stable source, that being the industrial stuff, and the small business things for your buying your biscuit, right? You're saying, or buying tires at the tire dealership. That money is kind of circulating in the economy. So you have your inflow, your circulation, and then your outflow from everything that leaks out when you go to buy things outside the community.
And I think too, there's something unique, and maybe you can verbalize this about actually creating something or building something, whether it's plastic playground equipment or awnings or whatever it may be. The idea of manufacturing something out of raw material, be it wire, guess who I'm talking about. There's just something, I don't know, very satisfying about that, it seems.
Yeah.
And I think people get a great satisfaction for, look what we built, look what we made.
I think that commercial that Jeep had, the things that we make us, I think that's true. Because the skills that you acquire in an industrial setting or a business setting, it doesn't matter if you're working in a law firm or if you're working twisting wire. You learn a process so well, and you look at it and you say, man, I think I can make a better mousetrap. That guy goes out and starts his own business, and he creates a new quality of life, and he provides for his family, and then you have a business that flourishes after that. Just because you have an industrial base where a guy's learning the skill and learning the trade. And that's the important thing, too, kind of like that third leg of economic development is that talent pipeline. If you have the kids in high school that understand that manufacturing is not a dirty word, that the places where they work are not hot, they're not terrible, they're robotic factories, they're high technology manufacturing centers. Anybody who wants to learn how to build something and to work with computers, manufacturing is really the way to go. And so one of the programs the Chamber and Carroll Tomorrow are trying to put down into the school system is to teach kids that, hey, manufacturing is an option. You don't have to go and get a 4-year degree from a liberal arts college and come out $250,000 in debt before you go off and try to make your first million or make 30,000 or 40,000. You can go into a trade, learn a trade with minimal debt coming out, actually sometimes paid for free by the Hope Scholarship, and you can start making $30, $40, $50 an hour, ready to go. Some of the guys, actually, we had a plumber over our house recently, and that was a nice little bill that he left behind, and I guarantee you he's not chunking around a $250,000 student loan on his back.
Sure. And I think there's something else that's important to say about manufacturing. I mean, obviously, it garners higher, pay scale, higher pay scale. But, you're on your feet. You've got a shift. I mean, you're overseeing very expensive equipment. And, I mean, these people are really working. I mean, they're earning their money.
They're earning it.
And to me, they're almost heroes in the sense that they've got a good job with a lot of responsibility, and they're really, pushing the engine.
Well, and if you're good at what you're doing, you can always move up in a company.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about it. So we met a guy out at Flowers Bakery not too long ago. Mike, the plant manager, he started off as a production line manager. And so he started off at the production line, moved up and up and up, and now he's the plant manager. Before you know it, maybe he'll be flying the big ship in the sky somewhere,
Okay. Well, let's. One question I want to ask before we run out of time. I certainly don't want to miss it. And I think this is important. Well, let's do it in 2 parts. Tell us a little something. What's your perspective? We have a unique Carroll County Chamber / Carroll Tomorrow partnership. Am I wrong in saying that's somewhat unique?
It's special.
It's special.
It is special.
Why is it special?
It is special. So a lot of communities across the state, they'll either have one of two things. They'll either have it where economic development is underneath the county auspices, so it's a political position, and political being the operative word here, or it's sometimes vested inside the Chamber of Commerce exclusively. They just say, hey, Chamber, run, and you go and do it by yourself. In Carroll County, you have the Chamber of Commerce, which does have the community involvement, the community investment, the memberships. And you have Carroll Tomorrow, which has the private dollars, the big hitters, the Southwires, the Tanner Medicals of the world, who are putting money behind the program. And the governments do put money into it. They stay below 30% of it by their bylaws. They want to keep it below 30%. And what comes of a result of that is a true partnership between all parties. And that's unique. The only place I've ever seen it work was in my hometown of Coffee County. The Chamber of Commerce and the Development Authority of Coffee County have a contract with each other to do operations. And so they have a little bit of government money and a lot of private money from the chamber side. And the other ones are like Hall County, big Hall County, Gainesville. They have the similar type of model that's there. And then there's Carroll County. So really you're kind of in a field of your own when it comes to having a a unique economic development engine.
Because they're a partnership and blended. It's not like economic development, government, chamber, private. It's more of a merge type of approach.
It's a true partnership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Along those lines, my second question is, oftentimes people say, well, why should I join the chamber? What's in it for me? Well, that's not really the best question. The question is, and from an economic development point of view, how much support do you need? Are you seeking? Are you wanting from local business leaders and community leaders in helping you do your job?
You got to have it. It's imperative. So I'll give you a perfect example of that one. So when I was in Upson County working down there, Quad Graphics had acquired their competitor, and they were looking around the region and around the nation and saying, where can we shut plants down? And the Thomaston plant was on the list. So we had to bring together the Chamber of Commerce with all the business leaders that were there. We were trying to bring together the county commissioners, development authority. Everybody rallied around the table to put together the best incentive package, really, quite honestly, an incentive package of why Quad should stay open in Thomaston. And you're talking about a community that was hit hard by the World Trade Organization and NAFTA and all that. Thomaston used to be rock and roll with textiles, as were a lot of people around here in this area.
Like Bremen.
Yeah. And so Quad Graphics was the only or the largest manufacturer that was kind of keeping everything going. So everybody had to come to the table. And if we didn't have that partnership with the chamber and the business leaders and the government leaders, it wouldn't have come off. So in the same way, if I have an industry that's looking like plastics, Superior Plastics needed those resources, bring it in the city, bring it in the county, the sheriff, the Emergency Management Association, they are all big players. And the chamber, being the central, I guess, flagpole for the community, kind of helped rally everybody around to it. So, yeah, it's vital.
Fun fact of the morning, my father helped put on a radio station in Thomaston back in the 60s,
Really?
WTGA.
Oh.
So with that little tidbit, we're going to take a break, hear from our good friends at Tanner Health System, and we'll be back with more with J.R. Charles after this.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Community Voice. I'm Steve Gradick, your host. Delighted to have you with us. Our guest this morning is newly residing Carroll Countyan, J.R. Charles. He's VP of Economic Development at Carroll tomorrow. And we appreciate your comments on Facebook Live or give us a call. The phones work, 678-601-TALK. Obviously, I'm not going to let you get out of this without talking about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is small business.
All right.
You know, we talk a lot about industrial growth and attraction and development, economic development. Where in your mind does small business fit into everything that you're doing or plan to do?
Yeah, so small business is the lifeblood of any community. It gives it its character. It gives it the local feel. It's where the T-ball sponsorship come from. It's where you go. Yeah. I mean, industries do their part, right? But small business, 80% of all business is small business. So, yeah, I agree with you that small business needs to take a front seat whenever it comes to talking about economic development. My first job, the one in Coffee County, my title was Director of Small Business Services.
No kidding.
And so, my job was to sit down with people who wanted to start a small business. We'd look at kind of their, notebook plan a little bit, and we'd talk through it, and we'd talk about where they saw their sales, what kind of employment issues they think we're going to have. And my big specialty, having had the journalism degree, was looking at the marketing side of things. And so, I can understand exactly where small business is coming from when they say they want to start and grow and take a dream and move on to the next stage of their life. That one. So part of my plan is to work with the chamber, because the chamber is really the where that piece touches, because people join the chamber because they, like you said, want to get something out of it. Well, what you get out of it is access to resources. The Small Business Development Center that's housed at University of West Georgia, they have professionals over there that sit down with aspiring small business owners and walk them through that pro forma. To be able to tell them, hey, you're going to hit problems in year 4 when you finally add employee number 3 and you start outstripping your cash flow, that kind of stuff. And if you want to know what that stuff means, contact them at the SBDC. I'll put a plug in for the SBDC over at West Georgia. Anyway, what I want to do is try to offer some of those same resources if we can put on a small business fair, like a job fair or an information fair, and say like in April is Small Business Appreciation Month in the United States. Maybe in April we can host some lunch and learns at the chamber side of things and say, hey, you small business owners who want to grow, here's some financial resources, here's some legal resources, some accounting resources. Bring your problems in. We'll see if we can solve them. So that's what I hope to do. That's a step 1A.
I've always believed that small business owners are not forthcoming in revealing how extensive and deep the challenges are.
Yeah.
I mean, because a small business owner's got to know legal, he's got to know HR, he's got to know regulatory, he's got to know his own industry and service.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, at times it's overwhelming, and the drive and the pride of a small business owner doesn't often lend itself to say, hey, I need help.
Right. Well, you know, the old saying, the strongest chain is only as good as the weakest link. Yeah. So we want to be a strong link and keep everything together. So if you're finding struggles out there, don't have pride. Always reach out. We're here to help. We want to help you in any way we can at the chamber.
So what are your goals now that you're on board? What do you hope to accomplish?
Oh, boy. So this is the beginning of week 4. So let's see. Week 1 was Daniel taking me around the community and learning everybody and shaking probably 600 hands that first week. Week 2 was the Superior Plastics fire, so that was good. Week 3 was the 4th of July. Well, no, 4th of July was week 2. Week 3 was looking for real estate for Superior Plastics, as well as trying to put the marketing plan together. I guess week 4 needs to be getting out and still meeting people in the community and shaking hands. So if I haven't met you yet, I would love to come out and give you a card, shake your hand, introduce myself. That's really what I'm trying to do for my first 60 days, is to get out to know the right people.
Now, I think the Carroll tomorrow has a 2020 strategic plan. How's that? Do you think that's doable?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think I'm not going to speak for the president. He needs to announce all this stuff, but I think that we're going to have a really nice surprise announcement in the coming days about our goals that we had for Advantage 2020.
Really?
Yeah. You may want to get him on the next Community Voice.
Okay, yeah. What was his name again?
Just Daniel.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, Daniel something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome. I think we've only got, a couple minutes left. How do people go about getting in touch with you?
Sure. Well, the best way is just to email me. I'll give my email address out on the radio. What's the harm in that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's jr@carroll-ga.org. Welcome to email me. No spam mail, please. Mm-hmm. They can call the Chamber of Commerce. They can drop by and come see us. We're at 200 Northside Drive. I'm in the building in the back. I think it's the Stone Family Building for Economic Development.
Right. And
I am willing to sit down with anybody and talk to anybody about whether they want to start a business, grow a business, or bring their business to Carroll County. I'm eager to talk to you.
Now, where's that located?
200 Northside Drive.
Okay, give me some landmarks.
Landmarks? Oh, boy, you're asking the new guy for landmarks.
Next to the fire, 61166 bypass, next to the fire station.
Yes.
And next to the ball fields, what is it, the recreation center there, East Carroll? Or,
across the street from the Department of Labor.
Across the street from Mark Butler's place.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't remember that. Is that the? I think that's his name, Mark Butler.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, well, JR, thank you so much for coming to Carroll County.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the radio show. I
Sure.
really appreciate it.
Well, we'll have you back. Yeah, whenever you have big announcements, you know where to call first.
Yes, sir.
You understand how that works. So, all right. Well, hopefully we can all get behind JR, because he can't do it alone, right?
No, I need everybody help I can get.
And so we didn't have time. We ran out, but I did want to say we're very fortunate to have the Burson Center.
Yes.
And we should, next time you come back, we'll start off talking about the Burson Center.
Let's do that.
Because that's an important, cog in the wheel.
Yes.
All right. Again, thank you to J.R. Charles, VP of Economic Development at Carroll Tomorrow. And go out and make it a great day. Thanks to Tanner Health System for sponsoring the program. And you're in tune to WLBB Carrollton.